You are listening to the Earplug Podcast Network, a Fanboys Inc. production.
Can you dig it, nigga, sucker? Ooh, yeah!
We boo you because you're both a couple of world-class international a-holes.
Welcome to season 3 of the Faces and Heels podcast. We've got Macho Man Lewis Perry, Inksling Jack Purcell. No hat. There's no hat on tonight. No hat necessary. Tonight's no hat season 3 night. We've got tonight to begin season 3. We've got a huge lineup of guests. We're going to talk a little bit about them, but most importantly, we're starting with the Dungeon Master, the head hoss, the grind guru, Iron Rip BYSON.
Yeah, there you go. I gotta keep. Yes.
Greetings.
Whoa.
New fancy sound effects today. Okay.
We got comments coming in already. Eric is in the house.
Get him off the stage.
Eric, what's going on, brother?
So welcome back, Rep Man. I appreciate it. The last grind show, the one that I was fortunate enough to go to, was just incredible.
Which one was that again? I don't remember.
It was. All right, put me on the spot. Yeah, I've been going through a lot lately. Yes, yeah, it was April.
Yeah, April. Okay.
I have been. People will tell you because you still have yet to accept my friend request on Facebook. So if you
I don't do that. No, I don't do that on Facebook. Too many crazy people can message me. Nope, no.
So yeah, been going through a lot. So and then what happened? There was another one. The card after that, I couldn't go because that's when I started to get sick. So yeah, I couldn't go.
You missed
all this crazy
tag team extravaganza at that show.
Yeah.
Like there were, I think I've said this before. Like maybe it's hard to pick favorites. I'm not good like that. But one of my all-time favorite grind matches was Becca versus Davian on the very first grind show. But this show, the tag team matches were off the charts because you had main event against the Miracle Generation and MSP versus the Brick City Boys. It was insane. Like I was out of my mind. That was incredible.
Yeah, the newest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, me. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of good tag teams in the area now that have been really coming up and getting into their own. So, like being able to utilize them, and they're all close by, we can start having a lot more tag matches, which we are planning on doing something like a tag league after our anniversary show in October. So it'll be nice to showcase the tag teams a lot more. But yeah, no, there's a lot of great guys out there now.
All right. I just wanted to give a shout out to the newest member of the Angry Geeks family, Emily Mae Harrington, aka Quinderella. She's just jumping in. Hey, Em. All right. Okay, back to you, Jack.
All right. So, Rip, you haven't been here in a while, and we appreciate you coming back for more. September is a huge month for Pro Wrestling Grind, and at this point, like you were mentioning, the 1-year anniversary show is coming up, and you've really established Pro Wrestling Grind as an entity on the New England scene. I mean, I think at this point, so many people, I was just talking to some guys like Travis, who I know, I believe you were hanging with a little bit. And so many people just love like that emerald and gold brand. And it really does stand out. And everybody that I talk to thinks of Pro Wrestling Grind as a unique show, as opposed to, hey, we got another indie show to go to this weekend.
Yeah. I don't want to say that that I knew what was going to happen, because I had no idea what was going to happen. We could have failed after the second show, that we could have failed after the first show. But right now we are going right on par with what Delmy and I had for a vision for Grind. And every show has been exceeding our expectations of that vision. And like I said in the beginning, and I'll keep saying it till the time we stop doing it, is that I want to be the best professional wrestling show. It might not be the best variety show. It might not have the biggest stars and stuff, but our wrestling is so good for the 7 matches that we put on, the 7 or 8 matches that we book. And I just want that to be our calling card, just being a wrestling show that's really good to watch. And it's really, you can sit down and you can digest what's going on in the ring and stuff. And it, up until now, it's been going pretty much right on par with that expectation.
Yeah, and each show has been so different. I mean, I feel like that there's some wrestling promotions I've been to where consistency is good. Like, it's not a bad thing, but you kind of feel like you know what you're in for. And I wouldn't say that, again, it's a negative, but when you go to the Pro Wrestling Grind shows, it's always a unique experience. And now you've got that roster that's grown out. You've got a lot of the men, the women, the tag teams. There's a ton of variety. And now on top of that, we finally got the Grind Championship. And that is the big show coming up on September 4th at the RPM Fest. So we definitely, like, the brackets of this are insane. Like, do you mind if I go through this? I know you know it, but I want to make sure our listeners know.
I don't have it in front of me, so I can't follow along with you, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it's an incredible lineup. I mean, just the first match on the bracket is Alec Price versus Ryan Mooney, which is out of control. And that's a rematch.
Yes, that's a rematch from our January show. That was actually, it was Alec. The first match was Alec's 3rd time with us, and it was Ryan Mooney's debut. So, but since then, Alec's schedule has been so busy lately. He shot off like a rocket. This has been one hell of a year for him, and he's been so busy. It's been really hard to get him back. So in that time, we've had Ryan Mooney back a lot, and right now. And we said in the beginning, and we'll say it now, wins and losses matter here, because that's what this whole tournament is based. It's based off of the top 12 wrestlers that have been in Grind. Ryan Mooney has got over that loss with Alec, and now I believe they share the same record in Grind. I think they're both 2-1, or close to that, 2-2, 2-1, maybe 3-1. But anyways, I don't have the list right here, but yeah, no. So it's like it's almost poetic that it is a rematch, because it's been almost a year since they faced each other, and they've both grown so much.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Mooney's been all over the place. We've seen him at other promotions, and I think a lot more people know who he is now, where maybe the first time he was at Grind, like, I wasn't that familiar with his work. And after I got home from that show, I went and watched some of his matches online. So he immediately got my attention, and I was psyched that he was coming back. And I can't wait for the rematch with Alec Price, because that guy's just on another level. He's incredible. And, I know that he's done a lot of shows with you at different companies like Limitless and Wrestling Open. So I can't wait. That is going to be incredible. Then O'Shea Edwards against Joseph Alexander. That an amazing contrast in style. I mean, that's going to be a killer match.
That's a grizzled veteran versus a very hot upstart. And Alexander has such a big hill to climb in the first round, but it's going to be good for him. Win, lose, or draw, man. It's going to be good for him. He's going to have an experience. O'Shea is a monster. O'Shea is one of my favorite wrestlers I've seen on the indies. I'm really happy I get to work with him up here in the Northeast, and hopefully we're a door and a stepping stone to get him booked more up in the Northeast. There's that bracket. Look at that thing.
Hey, Lewis, nice.
So Joseph Alexander is definitely going to be around a lot more. He's he was always helping out with the shows, and now he gets to be on the shows. And then, like I said, I love working with O'Shea, so I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that match is, it's funny because I'm horrible at picking favorites of anything anyway. So I couldn't pick which match I really want to see most, but both of those matches, I can't wait. Perry Von Vicious is going to be taking on Channing Thomas, and both of those guys have been at plenty of grind shows, and the crowd knows who they are. That's going to be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah. Now that both of them kind of have a little bit less than favorable win-loss record here, but they both were able to squeak in based off of sheer numbers of matches they've had with us. And who knows? I mean, Channing Thomas seemed to turn around his life with the addition of Sydney Bacabella at the last show.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see if, one, Sydney shows up, because I have no idea if he is, and two, if Channing, if he doesn't show up, if Channing can capitalize on that new mindset without his coach there, you know?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, he got roughed up by Bryce recently, so hopefully he's recovered.
Oh yeah, yep. That was last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope your ear's doing okay, by the way.
Oh no, it's a lot better.
Good.
Ice
Good.
and alcohol heals everything.
Yes, that's 100%, doctor. And then the last match in the first round, we've got Davian returning, and again, I was ranting about her match with Becca against Delmi Exo.
Two undefeated ladies going at it in the first round. Like I said, Davy was here the first three shows, and then with her being the chaotic champion for a little bit there, or I think she still is. Their dates have been lining up on our dates, so we haven't been able to have her back recently. So Delmi finally decided she wanted to debut and grind, and of course we're going to let her do it. It's her place, her party.
Yeah.
And she's been kicking ass here. So I'm interested to see. They faced each other 100 times before, too, earlier on in Delmi's career. And so I'm interested to see what's going to happen this time, because I think I've seen a total of 8 of their matches against each other. So I'm interested in this match. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're invested for sure. And then the second round, we've got the buys that are given to yourself, Rip Bison, and we've got Jay Freddy, Logan Black, and Travis Huckabee.
Let's see. I believe the reason why myself and Logan got buys for being undefeated. We're undefeated, but we've had more matches than the two girls in the company. So our undefeated streaks are a little bit bigger. So we were able to, the numbers lined up to where we have more, more points, so to speak, going in. So we both got buys. And then Jay Freddy has only one loss. That's to yours truly. And actually, Travis has only had 2 losses up until now. One against me, and then another one against Anthony Henry in our most recent show, which was a fantastic bout. That match was arguably match of the night on our last show. I believe that was July. Yeah, that was July 4th weekend. And go back on IWTV and watch it. It's on the Doctor show. And so they're both I think all 4 of those buys are well deserved, and it's interesting to see, because if we look at the first round brackets, I think there's a lot of first time matchups in grind that have potential of being in the quarterfinals here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Rip,
sorry, go ahead, Louis.
I'm sorry, I do have a question. When it comes to your match, who are you more prepared to fight, and who would you like to fight? Would it be Alec or Ryan?
I've faced Alec about 4 times now in the past 2 years, I believe. So I'm definitely more ready to face Alec. But I would like to face Ryan Mooney, because he was one of the guys when we first started. He sent us a video package on our email when we first were accepting for the original show, and we're like, who is this guy? And it come to find out, a funny story about Ryan Mooney is 4 or 5 years ago, I did a Ring of Honor tryout, which happened to be his very first, like, he had been training, but it was his first match at this tryout. And so the ROH trainers were like, hop in there with somebody during the tryout matches because they needed an extra guy. And so his first match in the tryouts was JD Drake. And so, and I don't even remember that match. And I didn't even remember Ryan Mooney until he was here. And then JD Drake was staying at my house with Mooney, and he brought up that tryout match. And I was like, wait, you were there? No, that wasn't you. Because I remember him being like 6'5" and stuff when I was there. And I was like, no, that wasn't you. And no, he's dead set. He's like, yeah, no, that was me. I got my ass kicked in the tryout match with JD Drake. And stuff. And yeah, they swore up and down. And I'm like, holy crap. So I've known him forever without actually knowing him, or known of him forever without actually remembering it. And so it's just kind of nice to see him. And then when he came here and he's just stepped up to the plate every single time. Him and Alec in January was fantastic. Him versus Gary J at Price of a Mile was probably one of the quintessential matches of grind in the past year. It was, man, did he get colored up and he got beat up, and man, it was just fighting spirit all the way through. And then he just he faced Channing Thomas. I believe he faced Channing Thomas. Yeah, he did. He beat Channing Thomas. He was strong against him. And then he recently faced Travis Huckabee in a match, and that was again a strong contest for him. So I'm excited I would really like to scruff it up with him. Also, he's such a technical and high flying fast guy. I want to see if I can keep up with him because I'm a big fat slow guy, you know.
You mentioned the Doctor show, and I just thought, like, I was talking about how I thought each of the grind shows really have their own personality, and again, it's not repetitive. The only thing I think that's super consistent about the shows is you just never know the order of the matches. Like there's not always a match that you feel like is the marquee main event. It's just any sequence could happen and it would be satisfying. But at the Doctor show, Jay Freddy against Gary J had a unique tension about it. Like when he took that dive to the outside and got knocked out on the outside, like people were really scrambling, like, oh my God, like what happened? You know, and that was a really cool moment in that match. And again, you talk about having intestinal fortitude and persistence. Like that match didn't slow down at all. Like they got back in the ring and continued to tear it up. And I just thought that was a really cool moment in that show where the whole crowd was in unison, sort of, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And there was just a ton of tension there.
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop. It was while we're over there checking on him, I'm going, oh no, people are going to start getting up and leaving. Oh no, they're going to, and like I've seen this on shows where something that doesn't expect and people are just going to start getting up and leaving, and nobody left.
No.
We had someone standing at the door and they said, yeah, nobody left that entire, however long it was. I don't really remember how long it took for him to get back up into the ring, but it was like a good 2-3 minutes of it, and they all stayed for it. So that was kind of nice. It was nice that the fans knew what to expect. Like there could be something like that happens, and they would just want to wait it out. You know, they didn't just go, oh, well, that they fucked up and here we are, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was a different feel for sure. That whole show was a different feel.
That's loyalty.
That's for sure. Yeah.
That's loyalty right there. That's loyalty to the brand and to you and Delmy. Those fans that go and continuously every show, that's just loyalty.
Oh yeah, they're diehards. I'm not gonna trash talk other other Western Mass promotions or promotions in the area, but our fans go to our shows, and then a couple of them they, in their words, not mine, accidentally bought tickets to the other shows around here, and they go, oh wait, this isn't grind. And then so they would sit there for that show and they'd be like, okay, this is fun, and then they come back to our show and then they'd be like, okay, we know to look for grind on the posters in the area, and they're really diehard, and they don't necessarily watch other wrestling. I don't even know if half of them watch it on the IWTV when it comes out, you know? I don't know if they rewatch it. They're a really strong local crowd that likes just good professional wrestling. And it's really nice that they decided to call our product good professional wrestling, you know?
Yeah, I've talked to a few fans just being at the shows, and they've said exactly that. There were a few people who are like, I don't know who these guys are, because they had asked a question. I think Anthony Henry, somebody was asking who he was, and I was talking about him. Like, oh yeah, we just come to the grind shows. Like they didn't know anything about Ring of Honor, AEW, anything like that. They just show up when they know there's a grind show in East Hampton.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really cool, and it's cool that they sit there and they get it. You know, like some casual fans. They go in there for the cheap beer or whatever when the bar's open there, you know, and and while they're drinking with their buddies, they look over and go, "Oh, that guy just got slammed," and then they go back to talking to their buddies. No, they actually sit and watch and pay attention at grind, and it's just I'm really thankful for that because not a lot of people get that.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm sorry, Jack. With that being said, there's a question I've been asking a lot of the guests here on Faces and Heels, and I didn't ask this of you, Rip. Have you walking around town or going to the Walmart or Target? Have you been noticed?
Delmy and I were. It's funny because again, our most frequent spot, other than the grocery store, is a liquor store. And we're walking to our liquor store that's like 2 blocks from our house, and we're in the parking lot. We're going to the front door, and there's this girl across the street, and she's not a young girl. She's some college age girl. She turns and she looks at us and she yells across the street. She goes, "Every time I see you in town, I'm thinking I'm looking at celebrities," which is me and Delmy are so like to our own selves outside of wrestling. This is our character, you know, like
Yeah.
This is how, if I'm in public, I'm not going to talk to you. You could be my friend for the last 29 years and I won't talk to you in public. I'll be like, yeah, okay. And I'll keep going, you know, type of thing. And so like, we were like, oh my gosh, someone recognized us. What do we do? We need to move out of town and change our names. And, but then when we got home, we realized, oh wow, no, somebody recognizes grind as a local thing now, and it's kind of nice. So it does make you feel like, you know, we're 9 months into or 9 shows into this, and we're like, do we keep doing it? Do people recognize our product and stuff? And like that's a nice little like you're doing good, you know.
It's flattering.
You. So yeah, it's inspiring.
It's very flattering and very inspiring. Jack?
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say that's interesting about the match we were just discussing with Jay Freddy against Gary J is that Jay Freddy always seems to come out on top when he battles your barricades because you got the nicest barricades in pro wrestling, and he is always smashing the shit out of those. And then it finally got the best of him at Dr. Doctor.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess if you play with fire once in a while, you're gonna get burned, you know. And yeah, no, those are really nice barricades. Hell, they're if they ever start a union, I'm screwed, you know. The barricade union. That show was bad because I saved 2 little kids in the front row. I was standing behind the barricade and I saw the dives coming, and I ran up just in time and put my fist there because the dad had walked away to go get a drink. And the barricade almost shot back and took out these 2 kids in the front row. And I'm like, oh God! And that's all we need is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have insurance on the show, but I don't need to be sued. But we've had barricades hit fans, and they're all like, yeah, and they actually put them back together for us sometimes if we can't get there in time. So like, it's crazy that these fans are diehard grind fans, but they're not wrestling fans. They come out to have a good time on a Friday, you know, and they love it. And they want to be part of it, and they love the barricade. And like I said, the barricades. Everyone sees those, and they go, "Oh, yeah, we get to play with barricades tonight." And it's like, well, guys, they're not there really to be slammed against. They're there to 1, make it look nice, and 2, keep people out of the ring. You know, like, it's just. But whatever.
They take
their body, not mine.
Look good. Yeah, right. Eric Hunting says, "How do you separate wrestling on a show and running the show?"
Oh, how do I do that? I can tell you why how I justify it. I justify it because I'm free talent on my own show. I don't have to pay me because I get whatever money I make, and I mean it's not that much, but you know what you call. So I'm a free talent. I get to save money that way. But running it, You try to get as much set up outside of the show day as possible, like the card written out, everything planned, all the storylines. You talk to everybody ahead of time, and then so when you're there, you're just setting up the ring, setting up the entrance, setting up the arena. You have your little meeting where you say your do's and don'ts, and then it's just the rest of the time is I get to be a wrestler. And I try to put my matches on early so that if anything goes wrong later after my match, I can be the business owner and be the nervous guy who's going, oh no, they're hitting the chandelier, oh god, and stuff like that. But no, that's really how I separate it. I just prepare myself for it, and then I also prepare myself for the worst when I'm standing in the backstage area getting ready to go out to my match, and I'm ready for somebody to come up in my ear and go, hey, there's somebody out there, they're falling down the stairs or something, or the bathroom's overflowing or something like that. And I'm like, I'm waiting for that moment. Hasn't happened yet, but whatchamacallit, that's how I do it.
Nice. Well, so far so good. It's been phenomenal. And we just talked about the brackets, and that's only half of the card too. You know, it's almost like I was ready to move on to something else, and I forgot you still got 4 other matches that we haven't even talked about yet. And one of them is really interesting because you mentioned that you go on early in the card. You had the opening match against Warhorse a few shows back, and now you guys are teaming up against the Shook crew, Bryce Donovan, Bobby Jr., and Bobby Orlando and Bobby Jr. So it's like a handicap match.
Well, I mean, I'll punt that goat across the arena and he won't have to bother me anymore. I think I've actually kicked him once, so I know I can send him. No, that when we got approached at the beginning of the year, I think it was around January, RPM Fest approached us. They sent us an email and they're like, we like wrestling in the area. One of the RPM guys actually went to a couple of our shows and were like, oh man, would it be great if we could do this here? So they emailed us. And so we were talking and stuff, and it's like, okay, we set the deal down. It's a metal fest and everything. Or I mean, it's like a indie underground metal fest. It's everyone was asking, so who's going to be there? It's like, no, this is like independent wrestling, but for metal. And we're an independent wrestling show going to this independent show. So it's like a big, all these fandoms coming together and stuff. So it'll be cool for us. It'll be cool for them. But when you think of heavy metal fest and a wrestling show, the first person I thought of was, well, I need to get Warhorse back. And so I messaged him and and then we were thinking about, well, what are we going to do with him and stuff like that. And he's not really there they are. He's not really available in the area all the time. So we can't really take his record into account for the tournament bracket and stuff like that. So what else can we do to him? Well, let's have a showcase match. And well, I'm a first round bye, and we're the 2 metalheads of wrestling. I would be stretching to think of another person who's more metal than me and Warhorse in the business right now. Other than the Kiss demon from WCW. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's team. I mean, I faced him twice. He won 1, I won 1. We can be kind of a neutral team for the power of metal, you know. And Shook Crew, I love the Shook Crew guys, and that would just be a really fun opponent for them, and hopefully they can beat us, but I don't think they will because it's a metal fest and that's our home, baby. They're going to be battling uphill, you know. So yeah, that's how that came together. And I'm trying to get Warhorse back up here more often and stuff, and I'm trying to lead that charge. There's a lot of people that I'm kind of leading the charge and trying to bring back up into the area.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got some cool debuts on this show too. Like we mentioned before, Brick City Boys were debuting on the show prior, and we've seen Logan Black and Mike Skyros, but they're going to be facing off against one another in a singles match. But Andy Brown's debut is happening at this show, so he'll be at the RPM Fest for the first time against Jay Freddy.
Yeah, that'll be a fun match. That match between that match, the Alec Price match with Ryan Mooney, and no, I really can't No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that there could be match of the, any of the matches could be match of the night, because hell, top shelf Troy Nelson, our commentary guy, is debuting in a match because he wants to fight Travis Huckabee, and Travis won't fight him. So unless he's a wrestler, so he has to win a match. And I mean, I'm fine with that. You know, that makes sense. I'm not gonna. I mean, Travis has been a dick in our shows for a little bit, but he makes sense. Troy hasn't wrestled for Grind. Why would he wrestle a non-wrestler? And Troy
Didn't that start at Antisocial?
Yeah.
I was there. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
I remember.
Yep. That's where it really came to a head. And and then last show Troy got physical with Huckabee when Huckabee jumped on Anthony Henry from behind after the match. So he tossed him out of the ring and he challenged him to a match. And so like it makes sense. And now flip side of that coin, Troy is debuting, but Angelo Carter, the Money Dragon, is one of Logan Black's students, and he's been wanting to get onto the shows for a while. He's been coming, he's been helping out, he's been paying his dues, and what a perfect opportunity. We have a guy who needs to wrestle a match, and we have a guy who wants to be here to wrestle a match. So let's put them together and let's do it at this show. And so like that match could be has potential to be the best match of the night. There's so many I don't want to fluff my own feathers about booking, but like I like when me and Delmy finish the card and we look at it and we go, oh wow, no, this actually came out really good, and like it's a good card.
It's a stellar card. I was talking to Angelo Carter this weekend about it, and he's pumped about it. I told him like I can't wait to see how this match turns out, because I've only seen Top Shelf wrestle once, and so I've seen Angelo Carter wrestle a few times, so I know he's an up and comer. He's hungry and he wants to be part of the grind, and he made that clear. He made that really clear that he's looking to be part of this roster.
Oh yeah, no, we've had our eyes on him for a little bit. We've just been kind of waiting to see where it played out, and now here it is. This is his chance, and hopefully there will be more after it. You know, that's all I can offer. He worked hard, through it. And if there's any workers listening to the show, I don't want to say I know old school mentality is bad and stuff, or a lot of it's bad now. It's almost cringeworthy, but I do believe in the fact that if you really want to be part of something, an email and a phone call isn't, or like a video package isn't enough. You have to show up and actually want. We have tons of people who email us and we don't bother messaging them because they're not coming out. And like, if you because that's how I always did it. I always showed up to shows and hoped that I'd be booked. And I mean, like, that's how I got onto Open. I was just showing up every week and hanging out and stuff. Wrestling Open. Limitless was the same way. I was showing up there, and like, I think if you want to be part of something, you should help out in some way, because not everybody knows who you are. Mm-hmm. We're on IWTV. You're on IWTV. It doesn't matter. There's 100,000 shows on that on that app that I can't watch. You know, like I don't have the time to watch all these shows and see all these wrestlers. There's just too many. So like, Angelo Carter is paying his dues. Joseph Alexander was another one like that. He showed up to the shows. He rode with Logan Black. He helped out. He set up the barricades when Jay Freddy went through them. Miracle Jen was there that one time. Hell, when Jay Freddy first went through the barricade and it flipped over onto the fans, I thought they were fans. No, it was Miracle Jen up there. And I think Ichiban was sitting there too, and the barricade whacked up. So I'm like, oh, good. It wasn't fans that it hit. So I was okay with that. But yeah, no, that's how, Angelo paid his dues. And so here's his chance. Let's see if he can do it in the ring, you know?
Yeah, the very first time that I actually spoke to the Haven, I met Sean, was at that show, at your show, at Grind.
Oh yeah, and they were hanging out there too. Yeah, and I've seen them doing a lot of stuff with Open and stuff, and they've come a long way since I first saw them at the beginning of the year. And it's like I said, it's just it's only a matter of time before we get them in here. But
yeah, I think they've been super hot lately, and you know, like you said, at Wrestling Open, those guys have really been turning it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a question. I'm sorry, Jack. Go ahead. My question can wait.
Oh, okay. So piggybacking on that, I just also wanted to mention that we get a double dose of Grind this month. We're also going to have the Electric Crown happening, and that's going to be the semifinals, right? And that's happening.
The quarters and the semifinals. So it will be all the buy rounds will have their match, and then the end of the night we will decide who is actually going to be in the championship match in October. So that's a big show. There's really not a lot of room for anything else on the card, so you're going there, and that's just tournament action. I think
Nice.
we have one tag match slated for that, but I think that's the ink's still drying on that.
Cool. And that's Friday, September 30th. So
Yep.
that's at the end of the month. So we got, like I said, we got the 4th and the 30th. So I'm selfishly really pumped about that as a fan.
Oh, I'm pumped about it too. I'm pumped about the next 3 shows. Up until the October 28th. You heard it first here. October 28th is our anniversary show. It's called Celebration Day, named after the fantastic live Led Zeppelin album they did in like 2012, the one-off show they did. But it's called Celebration Day. That's our anniversary show. We're crowning the champion there. That's on October 28th in East Hampton at the Pulaski Club. You heard it here first. Look at that beautiful belt. And we get so many compliments about that belt. I'm so happy with how it came out. Shout out to West Ghost Design in California. I literally just gave him the grind logo, and he was able to make that beautiful thing from what we want from that alone. And it's just awesome. And I'm really excited to crown whoever does win that belt. And I think there's a lot of people on the roster who actually care about it. It's not just some other belt. It's not just some other indie promotion. They actually want this title and this opportunity and stuff. So I'm very excited for the next 3 shows are going to be crazy.
It's going to be an electric show.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing, but it really is going to be an electric show. I think that's going to be a different vibe than anything else that you've done before. And it's interesting too that, for you guys, it's a little bit different because you're just having your first anniversary. So it makes sense that this is happening now, but even like Wrestling Open, I don't know I'd call it a championship, but it sounds like the way the Miracle Generation won the tag team tournament, that they're going to defend it as if they were titles. So it's interesting timing that some of the indie companies are having suddenly there's these new titles emerging.
Yeah, I've noticed that trend. It's also tournament season because last weekend we just had the Vacation Land Cup up in Limitless. I know there's been a bunch of deathmatch tournaments around this time. Don't ask me to name them. It's all alphabet soup to me. And I know Black Label Pro, I believe they're doing their tournament too. This is tournament. And then we go up to the big promotions. We have New Japan doing theirs. I think, is it the G1 now or it's starting? Noah just got done with one. Pro Wrestling Noah. So this is all tournament season. So now it's kind of cool that we were able to sneak in ours too,
Yeah. And this is a question you might not be able to answer, but it's something I thought about. Do you guys know if you might be thinking about being part of the Wrestleval? Am I saying that correctly? Beyond they're going to be doing it right before New Year's this year. I think they did it on New Year's Day in 2022.
I do know that there was talks, and I will or will not confirm it right now, but you just might have to go to Wrestleval, and you may or may not see the legendary grind doors opening and closing on that entrance there. And it might be our first ever live stream show. So I'm not going to say yes or no, but it may or may not happen in December.
Awesome. Lewis, what was your question? I didn't mean to blow you up.
It's one of my newest favorite questions that I asked all your guests, Jack, and I never asked this of Rip. Rip, what was it like, and do you remember the first time you walked from behind the curtain and saw a fan holding a sign with your name on it?
Oh, God, that was years ago, and it was I don't remember the fan, but it was when I was doing the Tomahawk gimmick. And they had the worst blow-up picture of a camera, like a cell phone camera shot of my face. And it was in between moving. So it was like this really just dead-eyed, zombie look in my eyes. And they blew it up. And it was a big poster board. And they blew it up to the size of that. And it said Tomahawk Chop on it. And it was this face. And I remember seeing it. And I was like, oh, my God. I am the worst poster in professional wrestling history. I've never seen one worse. I always get a kick out every time I see someone in the front row with a Rip Bison shirt. I always go, "Hey, that's a nice shirt," like that. But no, that was the poster for the tomahawk. Man, it was horrifying. It was like I was almost embarrassed to go out and like see it there. And I mean, the person was a big fan of Tomahawk, but it was just like, oh my God, someone's gonna see that and be like, oh, your fans can't make a nice poster of you, or at least can't take a nice picture of you. And I was like, oh no, that was horror. Horror is what I felt.
You felt okay. Fair enough. I never heard that answer before. I heard flattery. I heard it kind of pissed me off. They said I sucked, but I never heard horrified.
Horrified.
That's. Oh, there you go. Jack, the floor is yours.
I just want to come full circle and tell you that I am very, very familiar with the liquor store that Delmy and you frequent, and it's been wonderfully upgraded recently. And I'm sure
Well, you used to
appreciate
stock them. I'm sure you.
Well,
yes.
Well, the liquor store, they moved across the parking lot and they tore down the old building. I hope they make that a bigger parking lot for the whole downtown area. But they're Jim's Package. They're fantastic. Their store's very nice now.
Shout out, no.
Shout out. Hey, they let us hang up our posters there. So yeah, literally a shout out,
Nice. I'm going to buy some extra beer over there next time. So here's my big question for you. And I hate the way the seasonal beers move earlier and earlier. I used to joke with my friends that before you know it, we'll have Oktoberfest in the first week of August. And here we are, and we do. I don't know if you're a seasonal beer guy, but if you are, what's your favorite seasonal beer? Because I'm just starting to pick up some of the Oktoberfest, and I don't know if you're into it.
I am strictly hard liquor. I don't like, if I'm really drunk, I'll drink beer, but I don't do seasonal. Delmy, on the other hand, has decided that now it's fall, and now the October beers have infiltrated my mini fridge that I'm looking at right now. And so like that's Oktoberfest, that's the anything harpoon pumpkin, what you call it, basically anything that has pumpkin in it, she's all over it and stuff. And then as soon as it's over, like as soon as you see Christmas decorations, she's done. She cuts it off and doesn't want to.
Everything's peppermint.
Yeah. No, not even that. She's just like, nope, no more pumpkin. And then like even the people who start drinking like pumpkin beer at the beginning of August, she's like, nope, that's still summer. End of August, I guess, is spooky season, I guess, and she becomes a pumpkin head and whatever. But yeah, no, not me. I just keep myself in hard liquor. Keeps me out of trouble.
Nice. And you're sticking to, because I know you're a Jack and Coke guy, so are we sticking to bourbon, whiskey?
Yeah, whiskey has become my all year round friend. I mean, in summertime, I do like playing with tequila, and I can drink any kind of tequila, but I don't drink it as much anymore. Whiskey has become like, if I go out to the store, it's for whiskey. Also, Jack Daniel's started making the 12-ounce can, like Coca-Cola can size.
They did
pre-mixed Jack and Coke, so I don't have to buy a bottle and a 2-liter and try to do it at my house. I can get a 4-pack, be done, of it, and it's fantastic. It's also saving me money.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, Lewis is shaking his head now.
It's all about those deals, man.
Yeah, let me just recommend something, Lewis. Hang in there, because I know you're not going to be involved in this conversation as much. You're not a big drinking guy, but I respect the fact that you're not a beer guy, Rip. But if you have a chance,
I thought you were talking about me.
I know you. Please, I've already tried to get you to come to the dark side, but Rip, you've got to try the Stone Cold Steve Austin Lager, not the IPA. But
I've had the IPA. I like the IPA, and I'm not a beer guy, but that's a nice IPA. I haven't tried the lager yet, so I am looking to try it only because I'm a mark.
Yeah, no, me too. And I picked it up at Jim's, and every time I come in there now, they're like, "Yeah, we're sold out of the Stone Cold beer."
I think they have it at the Union Street package store by the Pride. I think they have a whole bunch there. So,
well, Jack will be looking through your living room window tonight, so just go out and buy some and.
No, you can't get in. I have an impenetrable fortress of darkness in this house.
And I did move to Northampton, so Rip and Delmy are safe. It's all good. Those guys are relaxing with their bourbon and pumpkin beer.
Yeah, you guys must feel safe now with Jack out of the neighborhood. Am I correct?
You know, he's right there. I can't say this on the air. Come on, kayfabe, man. Just save it for the car ride.
Okay, we'll save it for the car ride for sure. How much are tickets, and where could our listeners purchase them? Can they purchase them on the door? Or can they get them online?
So RPM Fest show is tricky. If you want just the wrestling show tickets, we're not selling them at the gate. They're only on Eventbrite right now. It's at grindfear.eventbrite.com. They're $15 at general admission. There's no seats because we're going to be underneath the tent, right up next to a stage of it. So So it's all standing room only. And that's only for I believe it's on the poster, but I believe it's a 7:00 door time, and they'll let you into the festival with our Eventbrite ticket. If you want to get there earlier, you need to go to rpmfest.org and buy their day pass, because they don't and that's, I believe, is $40 for the whole day. But you get to hang out you get to watch the bands, you get to hang out with all the vendors and stuff like that. So it's worth it. And the Pro Wrestling Grind show is included in that ticket. So if you want to spend the whole day there, $40, you get the Grind show, because we're part of the show. But if you just want to go to Grind, you have to go through our link that's on that poster right there.
Okay. So this is where our listeners would go to get their tickets for the September 4th show, 8 p.m. bell time. And there is a Google map right to where they can come and find you at Montague, Mass.
Oh, yeah. Up by Greenfield. We're going to the boonies for a metal fest. It's awesome.
I'm hoping it's not 95 degrees and humid that day for your sake and for ours, but really looking
I thought
forward
I
to
saw
this.
a thunderstorm, so who knows? Oh, yeah, that's another thing. It's rain or shine because we're underneath a tent. So
Nice.
Please come out, and we'll be mud wrestling before you know it.
Now, the bell time is at 8 o'clock, and it does go to 10 o'clock. For those of you that are saying, well, it's a Sunday night, please keep in mind that's a holiday weekend. You will have a 3-day weekend because Monday is Labor Day. Don't let a Sunday night 8 to 10 scare you away for this event. Go, because it is a holiday weekend. You got that 3-day weekend. Go watch these guys wrestle. You're gonna have a good time. Make sure you tell them that the Faces and Heels sent you. Make sure you tell them that Jack Purcell sent you. Make sure you tell them that the Angry Geek himself sent you. Have a blast, man. Go buy some tickets. See this gentleman down here. Whoop some ass and have some fun.
Yes, sir.
So can I selfishly throw out some names that I would love to see at Pro Wrestling Grind, and you don't even have to respond, but you could respond. You can do whatever you want. Can I give you a few names?
Why don't you just shake your head, yes or no?
It's gonna go onto the list of all the names that everyone else thinks that they have a part of my ear. And I'm booking my show.
All right, so hold on. We're gonna do a solo layout, and Jack, you just be the mysterious voice.
Okay, before we start, no offense to anybody. Okay, it's wrestling. Your feelings are gonna get hurt. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, you know what? I'm unoffendable. So I just throw it out because I'm able to talk to you, and I just think I'm sure everyone's got their own picks. I'm sure there's a lot of people who I'm not even thinking of right now. But Speedball Mike Bailey would just be insane against so many guys you already have.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Another one was Big Swole.
Yep, Big Swole. Yep.
And there's several people, including someone you know well, that I think that would be an amazing match. Facade, who I mentioned to you before. I don't know how well you know that guy.
I've known of Facade for a while. I don't think we've ever actually met in person, and I could be wrong. That could have been years ago. I've been hit in the head a lot. I'm sorry, Facade, if I've forgotten. But yeah, no. We did talk about it last time.
And there's a guy who I think you may be running into shortly. Maybe it's even going to be in Worcester, Massachusetts, possibly if you're ever in that neighborhood. Zenshi.
I have not heard of Senshi. I may have met him once, but I can't think of a face right now because I'm also drinking.
Well, he does wear a mask, so there's a good.
You wear a mask.
Remember the
Oh,
face,
what the heck? You know what? That doesn't help me.
All right, sorry, that's it. I'll stop. But I indulged. You allowed me to indulge you in throwing some names out. That's enough.
That was fun. Why'd you stop?
Well, because I don't know. I feel it's probably annoying. Like everybody thinks they know these names. That it's not like I don't think you haven't thought of a bunch of these guys, but I just when I go to the shows, I'm thinking dream matches and But Anthony Henry against Travis Huck, those kind of matches you're already doing. So I don't have to suggest anything.
Everyone has a dream match. No one has the money to start their own promotion to do it, so they hope everyone else gets past their dream matches to book their dream matches, and it's all a terrible, terrible thing. I made the mistake and started running a show to book my dream matches, and it's terrible. Anyways,
I have a dream match. Rip Bison versus ink-slinging Jack Purcell.
Well, it wouldn't be a long match.
And I'm Rip's manager.
Oh God, man!
No, he does nice artwork for me, so I'm not gonna. No. See,
can't hurt my hand. That's all I got.
Yeah. No. See, how can you?
No, Jack. There's a stipulation. That hand has to be tied behind your back.
That sounds horrible, man. What kind of friend are you?
That would make zero money.
A good one. I'm a good friend.
No,
I got your back. I got your back. That's why I said you got to protect your hand.
No. Let's not.
I can't get in the ring. I got a bad heart now. I can't get in the ring.
You're a good heart. You're a good heart.
I know I'm a good heart, but for some reason I got a bad one, so I can't get in the ring. See?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's forget about that horrible idea, Rip. Let's not do that. So you've given us a lot of cool stuff. So really, 2022, we've heard all about it. We know what's coming up largely. Do you have any specific thoughts or have you imagined anything specific for 2023, or is that just too far off, or maybe just something you don't want to share? I don't know.
We are currently sketching out the groundworks of a tag league that's going to be a year-long round robin tournament. The details of who's in it and how many teams are kind of up in the air right now, but we're thinking about next year's anniversary show if we make it that far. That's me being optimistic. If we make it that far next year, we will be crowning a tag champion of sorts, or a championship for tag team. Because there's, like I said, there's a lot that come through, and we've had a lot of teams come through, and hell, we've had great Japanese teams come through, and so to do something to showcase that thing. So this year has been basically about the singles run. Let's get some tag teams going in here and stuff. And so I think that's going to be a main focus for next year. Other than that, it's just to keep running regularly and keep putting on shows, man. It's like, that's the only thing you can do is hopefully the shows keep growing and we can go to bigger venues and we can get more towns going and more people in and get more of these dream matches going. It's just, right now, it's just we're in our first year, everybody. So be patient with us. We've barely made it this far, but hopefully next year we shoot off like a rocket.
How does IWTV work for you guys? I guess it's just interesting from a fan perspective to think about, is that something that you guys feel like is a great resource where you're able to reach fans that maybe didn't know you before? And like you said, who has time to watch it all? So it's kind of hard to track down all the good stuff. But do you find that IWTV has been able to help you kind of inject interest from maybe fans who wouldn't have known about you otherwise?
Yeah, definitely. We had a late night airing one time where our show went on at 10 p.m. East Coast time, and a lot of West Coast guys were able to watch it stream live. They don't usually get to watch it stream live. So that was kind of neat to have a different fandom come in and watch it for that time. So I actually like doing the later times now because, most wrestling fans, and I'm speaking for all of us, are psychopaths. We don't sleep. So we're going to stay up late anyways and watch it. And so, I've had from the people just reaching out to try to get booked on the shows too. It's like these people are like, oh my gosh, you're from California, you've heard about us? Like, we're just some little town wrestling promotion, barely draw 200 people, you know, like it's kind of cool to see that and stuff. And there's a lot of fans down south that know who we are now. Like when we went down to Action and the TWE down there and Sup Wrestling in Nashville, a lot of people there knew who we were because of IWTV. So I think it's very beneficial.
Yeah, I love the fact that you guys do go to Nashville. I think it's so cool to see you mixing it up with some of the rosters down there, like Merck. And the first time I ever saw Merck was at your show.
We did it.
That was great.
Yeah, no, we need to get him actually back up here. It's been long overdue. But yeah, no, it's really nice because it's also building bridges for other people, and we can get more people booked. And that's always been another like backstage kind of goal for Grind, was that I want people to get noticed, the little guys, the guys that you don't always see, who might not be so confident on social media, but are great wrestlers. Like, hell, no one knew who Ryan Mooney was, and I don't want to take 100% credit for him, but I think we booked him in such a great spot here that people realized who he was and how good he was. And like,
yeah,
what you call it. And like one weekend we got him booked on our show, and then he got to wrestle at Limitless the day after. And like, that was a huge, like, I did it, you know, like I did it. I did my goal. So no, I think IWTV is very important to what we do.
That's great. I mean, I love it. It's just such a great thing for me. If there's ever some moments where I've got downtime, I try to find something that I've never seen before. It's just an amazing way to discover some new talent.
Oh yeah, there's so much. Like I said, there's too much. It's almost bad, but also sometimes when you're bored and you just want to watch wrestling for 5 hours, well, there you go. You know, so many shows on there.
Yeah, right. I'll be looking forward to my next flu as long as it's mild. So really, really quickly. Well, I'm saying I got 5 hours on my hands. I can watch wrestling. So just really quick before we say goodbye to Rip, and I want to make sure we give you time to promote where we can find Rip BYSON merchandise or anything like that. I wanted to give all the listeners a quick preview of some of the guests we have coming up, because we've got an awesome lineup going into the fall, starting off big with Rip BYSON. So thank you. We've got Ashley Vox next week. We've got O'Shea Edwards on the 13th. Dan Barry on the 20th, funny guy. And on the 27th, one of the tag teams, and again, tore it up at Pro Wrestling Grind more than once, and the very first show even, Main Event.
Nice. That's a good set. That's a good group of cats right there.
Yeah, there's even more. Like I want to talk about some of the other ones, but I'm going to wait because I don't want to give it all away right now. But yeah, I'm super pumped, and like I love Main Event. And I've gotten to see them wrestle not only at Grind with you, but at Wrestling Open. So those guys, to me, I know another one of those tag teams I can't get enough of.
Oh, yeah, they're great. One of my favorite teams.
Yeah, me too. Like I really enjoy the hell out of any show that they're on. So I wanted to give you a little bit of time to let any of our listeners know, like, where can they pick up any kind of Grind merchandise? I mean, we know when we go to the shows, we can get those cool t-shirts, but where else can we find any Rip merchandise?
I do have a pro wrestling tees, but I believe they're upcharging the the price of making the shirts now. So if you want Rip BYSON t-shirts, I have all of them in stock. DM me personally, I will ship them out from there. From my own home, because now that this place has become kind of my office, I can do that without much thought. Same thing with the Grind shirts. We haven't really set up an online store yet for that, so just DM the Grind socials and we'll get you your shirts. I think we have stickers. We have new drink koozies coming out for Grind, so because we know how much our fans love to drink. So just basically our DMs are always open if you want to get some cool stuff, hit us up on all of our socials. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, not on Facebook. I don't accept friend requests and I don't read chats. Anyways, that's my personal time. Personal time is Facebook. Anyways, and then same thing with Grind. Grind has Grind Facebook actually responds, but so Grind has Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of them are at Grind Puro. if you look for that. That's Puro after the word grind. And then Rip Bison, just hit me up on my socials. Iron Rip Bison on Instagram, Rip F and Bison on the Twitter machine.
Nice. Do you have any dates coming up that you can let us know about? I know Wrestling Open, you can't always say anything, but is there anywhere that any of our listeners can come see you in the next few weeks besides the grind shows?
Well, like I said, this Sunday, one final push, September 4th at the RPM Fest. Grind returns after 2 months hiatus for Fear of the Dark, and I will be there teaming with Warhorse against the Shook Crew. I can't remember the limitless date, but there's a limitless date in between this grind show and the next grind show. And then on September 30th, there'll be another grind show in East Hampton, Electric Crown, which is the continuation of our Emerald 12 tournament, which I will actually finally be wrestling my first match in that tournament in. And then, that's pretty much all I got going that I can remember right now. I write everything down on a hard calendar. So if I don't flip through the actual pages of this thing, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, whatever works. But maybe we'll see you at Wrestling Open too, because I know it's always a surprise. So
I will be there this week. I don't believe I am wrestling, but I do know that Perry Von Vicious and Delmy XO are wrestling. So nice. I will just be their chauffeur and driving them up there.
Sweet.
But awesome. Probably weekly you'll find me at Worcester hanging out with the Wrestling Open guys.
It's great. They're great shows. So I'm so pumped that we get to see you all over the place. And we're really looking forward to both of the grind shows. So we'll be seeing you this weekend at a lot of loud heavy metal and a lot of hard hitting wrestling.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Rip, thank you so much for being here again. We really appreciate your time, and it's always fun talking with you.
Yep. Thanks for having me again. Anytime, guys.
It has been awesome. Jack, where can people get some lovely artwork from you?
You know what? On my Patreon, you just go to patreon.com, search Jack Purcell. You can find all kinds of wrestling and comic book artwork there. I've actually made the jump. Faces and Heels podcast has made the jump to TikTok. And I'm not really my son just said, if you go on there, don't make a cringe page. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't think it's a cringe page, but Faces and Heels podcast is on TikTok. I'm not pretending to be young and cool, so I'm doing the best I can with it. Bunch of artwork there, my own stuff. We got information about the podcast, including tonight's guest, Rip Bison, and we got a lot of other fun stuff coming up. So Faces and Heels podcast on TikTok, and we're Faces and Heels on Facebook, Faces and Heels podcast on Instagram. I'm Jack Purcell Inc., and I am on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're not creepy, I'll respond to your questions.
And I am Louis Perry. You can find me each and every Monday night live streaming right here on all your social media platforms on The Angry Geek Show. You can also find The Angry Geek Show on Pod TV. That's right. We're on Roku and on Amazon. So get that Pod TV app and tune in and see us every Sunday night, I guess. That's when we're on there. And you can also go to our website and listen to not only the Angry Geeks podcast, but Faces and Heels, because we're a joint venture. So go head over there. And every Tuesday night with my ink-slinging brother, the one and only Jack Purcell. That's it. That's all we got. Make sure you go to Wrestling Grind. Check these guys out. I love them to death. I've only been to one show. That's because I got sick. And I'm going to go to the next one. So there. If you don't believe me, you got to go and find out. You can call my ass out because I will be there. How about that? All right? Anyway, I'm Louis. That's Jack. That's Rip. And we're the Faces and the Heels podcast. We will see you guys much, much, much later. And I was just stalling because I couldn't find the outro. Bye.